Here, and I tell you one thing, running business in Shandaken, it's an art, and very few businesses lasted as long as I did. I mean, I can really use my one hand to count people who open businesses here and survived this many years as I did. And so I guess we should help out really to stay in business because he contributes so much. Thank you.
Dave Height, live on Trail 42, Shandaken. Just wanting you to know that I'm here to support the farm stand. It's a heartbreak not having it. We need these kind of businesses around here. We need businesses like that. We need railroads. We need places people can have employment and support their families. It's an important thing. I hope that we can resolve this thing. I have a store myself. I'm afraid to open it because I don't see where it's going to make money. But that would be a dream of mine to open that up and be able to support my family from it. I don't see how it'll happen, but maybe someday the door will open and it will happen. But anyway, I just want you to know I'm here to support him, and we need this business here. Thank you.
Have the abutters here, can we ask if they're here, you know, that we have the names?
Well, the first property is owned by Bank of America, so I doubt they're here.
Anyone here representing Bank of America? No? Oh, one.
Karen Thomas Malloy. Erica Brenner. Jeannie Maloney. May Gutman. Marilyn or Diane Stewart, also known as Sobolini. Bernard Levine. Charles Lynn Gruber. James Kins. Ted Denman. Hummingbird Land LLC. Nancy Denton. Lee Denman. Arlos Avery.
Yeah, he's here.
Would you like to be heard?
Yeah, just briefly. My name is Glenn Avery. I'm here to represent my father, Arlos Avery. We have, on his behalf, no objection whatsoever, and really would urge the board to work this situation out so we can get the farm stand
Com Nguyen, Lee Denman. That's the abutters.
Tom was here.
Com is here?
Tom was here. He's on the door right now.
It's just about 7 o'clock.
I would suggest you move on with the hearing and then come back to this one more time.
Before we move to the next board meeting, though, is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? State your name and your address.
I'm John Malloy at 5207 Route 28, directly across from Al. So I'd like to see Al reopen. There is some things that I would like to talk to Al about as far as deliveries and trash removal, the clanging of the trash at 4:30 in the morning and the delivery of the milk at 5. I have a 2- and 3-year-old. They wake me up at all different hours. I don't need to be, awake after that. But I love having the farm stand there. So other than maybe some light issues and some, issues like that, I'd love to see Al reopen. So, thank you very much.
Okay. Khan Nguyen? Khan, would you like to be heard?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to. Hi everybody. I'm his neighbor. Right. My opinion is, in this town, we have law, and like it follow the law. We only allow, the farm stand in 10 by 10, but he opened it way too bigger than what he's supposed to do. And if this time we let get away with it, and how in the future if somebody else do the same thing, and how we will stop it. I mean, for me, I'm not against about anybody to open the business and to make a living, but you have to do it according to the law, because if anybody else want to do whatever they want, why we have the law in this town? Why we even have the meeting at anymore? Okay, and then that is how I feel it. I am not against whatever he do, because we live in the small town. Everybody have to make a living, but we have to do that according to law. And if this time the board will let it go, and what in the future if somebody else open, and how you can stop it, because you already let this one pass by, and how you can do that. And then for example, if in future if you allow him to open this big this expand more than what is supposed to be, what in future I come in front of your guy and they say, oh, I want to open the 3 times bigger the farm stand. What you will say to me? No, you can't. You can't do that, because you already let him do that. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Nobody again to open the farm stand, and everybody make business, make a living, but you have to do it according to the law. And somebody say that we need the farm stand half mile away. We have another farm stand right there, and not go too far. And if he truly want to make open the farm stand to have the community, we have the Phoenicia Plaza. They have the storefront right there, right in the commercial yard. They have the big space right there. It's been empty for years. Why don't we just go there and open there? Nobody say a word. Legal, you have enough parking right there. And why have to be right on the 28th? There are a few times when it opened, somebody it's not a safety for the public, because somebody I drive home, somebody pull out right in front of me, because they park right on the 28th. So what happened if someday I have my family in the van and they get in car accident from this business, because they too close to 28. Who I will go after? Who will be liable for what you allow? That's what I am saying. Nobody around do the business, but you have to do according to the law and what town of law. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Someone up here in the front row, please.
Hi, my name
name is Lester Fensterheim.
Could you sign in?
Can you
Sure,
sign
I'm
in,
sorry.
please?
While he's signing in, is there anyone else thinking about coming up too?
Hi, my name is Lester Fensterheim, and I live in Phoenicia. And I think everyone loves a farm stand. And I think on the same note as the previous person was, how could a town allow someone to operate for 10 years illegally? Cost the town, I think the number is $70,000, and now he's trying to open up. I think he could open up within the law and also pay the town back some of the $70,000. The other point is if you go by there, right across the street from them is a yard sale all the time. The cars, they go for a left turn, they make a right turn. They park in the shoulder, which is for emergency. There's trucks there, and luckily, so far, there has been no bad accident. But the cars are going in and out, and so forth and so on. It's too dangerous for that area. If he does open again, he should open legally, and he should have enough parking space, and no one should be parking those emergency shoulder areas. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Since nobody else would like to speak, we'll move to the regular portion of our ZBA meeting. At this point of the meeting, these regular ZBA meetings, we don't accept comments from the audience, so you're welcome to continue observing what our meeting is. And so, and we thank you for coming out tonight. They have to have their position on the record. Yeah. Continue the meeting.
Well done.
Well done.
Get on the mic.
You got the best man off the counter. Jerry Walker. Folks, please be seated or step outside. Thank you. We'd like to continue with our meeting and would like to ask representatives to come up and continue their presentation.
Am I presenting to you or to the empty room?
Use the mic.
Use the mic? Do you want to use the mic?
Yeah, sure. You can take it out of the holder. That's great, it doesn't use it.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the specific variance requests that are before you, I'm going to tempt the fates and bore you with the law, which you are probably all too familiar with. But in order to keep this in perspective, I really do think, particularly in light of the comments that were made, that it's good for us to remind ourselves what the standards are for area variances, what the legal standards are. And again, I do know that you're very familiar with them, but I think we do need to keep it in perspective. So as you know, we're looking for an area variance. The 5 elements that are to be reviewed are whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting the area variance. 2, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance, whether the area variance is substantial, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood, and whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. I reduce that down to one very simple proposition. On balance, when you consider the detriments created by those things which are not in compliance with the law, do they outweigh the benefit which the intended use would provide to the community at large? So if we look at an undesirable change in the area, you heard the neighbors, they didn't think it was so bad. Whether it's substantial, most of the variances requested are not. There is one having to do with the area in bulk, which seems to be large. Whether it can be done in another way, well, it's there. And it's kind of hard to undo it now. And whether the hardship is self-created, I want to refer you folks to what happened when Irene hit our area and what it did to this particular farm stand. The farm stand employs 14 full and part-time people. 22 additional people, local folks, provide goods, cakes, pies, maintenance workers, goat cheese, mozzarella. Salaries and wages paid by Hanover Farms to non-family members in a year where they lost 6 weeks. $93,810 put into the community by this farm stand. 22 people, 14 full-time people, 22 additional people outside. Now, when people talk about the precedent, oh gee whiz, the law was broken. What are we going to do? We're going to let everybody break the law. Well, I think you people know better than anybody else how that's dealt with. You go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, you ask for a variance, and the people on the Zoning Board of Appeals essentially have to act as the conscience of the community. And it is up to you to decide whether or not the breaking of a law or the non-compliance with a specific town code requirement is so substantial and so detrimental to the community that it cannot be permitted to occur. And so it's not that if you let Hanover Farms continue, you must let everybody else do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. No. You take a look at the individual situation, you take a look at what's good for the community, you take a look at what's bad about what's going on, and you make a decision that is reasonable in compliance and consistent with the nature and the attitude of the community and what the community's needs are. So let's not be fooled by this idea that, oh my gosh, the law's been broken, the sky's going to fall, we're all going to get washed down the Esopus River. Hanover Farms almost got washed down the Esopus River. It cost them $647,000 to deal with what happened. And perhaps, in the views of many, what they did was over the line, but that is indeed why there exists a Zoning Board of Appeals. That's why area variances exist, because not every violation of a specific provision of a code is the beginning and the end of the world. I heard a few people talk about the roadway and the parking. We went through this, and we all sat here a few weeks ago. There are no parking variances needed for this particular application. There is sufficient parking there for the parking requirements of the code to be met. And so that is not an issue. The other variances that we're talking about, we've got an accessory structure that's less than 10 feet from a lot line. It's the front lot line. Yes, we do. The fifth variance request or the fourth variance request is that you cannot have a stand closer than 20 feet to a street line. Yes, we do. But if indeed people do park where they're supposed to park, the proximity to the lot line in the front is not a safety hazard. No accessory structure. The farm stand is considered an accessory structure. No accessory structure can project closer than the principal building. Principal residential building is the structure in the back where there's a trailer. And indeed, the farm stand is in front of it. Keep in mind that the topography in this particular location is quite steep behind the stand itself. And there's only a limited amount of room that can feasibly be used. The other variances that we're talking about, we've got a side yard variance of a foot on the one side where there's some stands. And then we've got this bulk and area requirement, which when you take into account all the space there, we're looking for about a 3,200 square foot variance on the bulk and area. The thing that I think that we really do need to keep in perspective is whether or not this use as proposed is really detrimental to the community such that it outweighs those code requirements which we're seeking variances for. People are employed, people like it. $93,800 to the community in a bad year. I'm not sure how many employers in Shandaken provide that. Food brought to the food banks, helping folks out, being a good neighbor, operating a business in this town for quite some time. I'm not suggesting that this board thinks this way at all. I'm sure they don't. But what drew me to this particular dispute, to tell you the truth, was the division it caused in the town. And what bothered me the most was that the division was caused not by whether or not this particular project was good or bad for the town, but it was about who the person was who was behind it. And there's no room for that. Okay, particularly by people who are charged with upholding the law and deciding what's right and wrong for the community. So let's not be swayed by the emotions of people who forget what's important and decide what's important based on the personality of the person behind it. Let's decide what's right and wrong for Shandaken. And I'm going to suggest to you that the nature of the variances that we're requesting here, in order to continue to operate, are not so large and not so detrimental to the community that you should take away from the community a vital service, a vital employer, an employer who brings much money into the community and supports the community in any number of other ways. For now, that's all I have to say. Thank you. May I be? One pretty vital thing which I forgot completely. Sorry. We're in the 8th of May. Farm stand needs to open. This is the season. And we have, if we are successful here, we have to go before the town planning board. And the Ulster County Planning Board has to be heard as well. Time is really critical. And I urge you to come to a decision on this matter as quickly as you possibly can. Thank you.
Was there an issue with the volume, the area that you wanted to address?
Well, it was pointed out to me. It was pointed out to me by one of you guys that there is